Private server advertising was recently added to ERLC, so in this video I am going to be purchasing an advert for my own private server and seeing if it's actually worth it. If you get any use out of this video, please make sure you drop a like and subscribe, but let's get straight into it. So let's start off by talking about what they actually are and how they work. So if you go up here and go to servers, you have an option up here called sponsored. Now this shows you every single sponsored ad at the moment. Now surprisingly, there isn't that many. There's only 30 that are actually sponsored right now. I thought there'd be so many more. However, the reason for this is because it's so expensive. So I know most people thought that initially it would just be 250 Robux to sponsor your private server. So if I go to my own servers right now, and let's say I just want to promote my live streaming server one, there's nobody in it. It's quite an active server. We use it every time I live stream. It fills up all the time. Not that the amount of players makes a difference, by the way, but if I go to sponsor ad campaign, as you can see just up here it says sponsors ads. You can sponsor your server for 1,600 Robux for 48 hours. That's just 2 days. 1,600 Robux for 2 days. You can buy every game pass in the game pretty much for that, or you could buy like millions of dollars of cash probably for that amount. It's very expensive for something that only lasts 48 hours, but the reason for that is so that everyone does get a fair opportunity of their server being showcased. And well, where does your server get showcased, you might be asking? Well, it's at every single bus stop just here, which there are quite a few. You can see this is some basic private server adverts, which we'll get to again in a minute on both sides. There is another bus stop over here as well, which has an advert on it, and another one on that side. And then we also have them on the billboards just up here. Now you may be asking yourself the question, how useful actually are these? Well, we're gonna find out in just a moment, but there is something you need to consider when comparing how good private server ads will be for your server. You see, all that we've seen in this video is the basic default advert, which is this one up here. Now in some cases, such as this one, you can see it has the private server icon, it tells you how many packs the private server has, the name and the owner, and that is it. However, you can add your own custom images for these private servers, which I think is quite good. Now if you are looking to advertise your private server, please make sure you get a custom image made for it, because I guarantee you these private server ads here that you see that are the basic default ones will not be as effective as a private server ad that has a custom logo. What you can do is you can add a picture of your vehicles, or you can add a nice screenshot you've got from one of the role plays in the past, or anything that is more appealing than this basic logo up here. It doesn't cost you anymore, and it's really simple. Where you do sponsor the private server in your own servers and then you press it and then sponsor ad campaign, it's really easy. You simply just upload the image IDs here. So you have the billboard ad 16:9, which is these on the billboard, and then you also have the bus stop ads 2:3, which are obviously the ones on the bus stop. These are completely free to add. It doesn't cost you any more Robux to add these, and you should really invest that extra time, or even if you want to pay someone to do it, that extra Robux or money to get these images, because it will work a lot better than just having normal private server ads. However, enough talking, let's get into seeing how effective they actually are. So I did just realize it's probably not going to be as effective if I advertise AmazePlays, because I mean some people may recognize me and just join my server thinking that I'm perhaps in there or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new server, and I'm going to pretend it's an actual roleplay server. So let's just call this UK RP England roleplay. I know it doesn't really make sense, but it's a basic name. It's a name people might just want to click on. So let's press create. So for starters, we have to spend 50 Robux to create our private server, which is just great. Costing us more money, and it's teleporting us back to the private server, even though we need to be in a public server to purchase everything else. However, now we've made it, if we go to own servers, it should show up here, and it does. So what you can do, of course, is buy all of this. This is like at least 2,000 Robux to purchase everything here. Then you might want to spend $10 a month on Sonora and CAD, and on top of that you might want to sponsor your server. Now you may be thinking, okay, let's sponsor this server now, but we actually can't do that. You do need an upgrade pack. So there's probably about 2,000 Robux worth of upgrade packs here, but you need the pro server pack, which is 200 Robux in itself before you can actually advertise the server. So I spent 200 Robux on that. So far we're 250 Robux down, and now if we go to sponsor ad campaign, it should work. So I'm going to leave both of these blank. I haven't got a logo. I've got only one pack, which is the required pack you need, and well, I've got no description on my advert either. So this is a completely stock empty brand new basic server, and is it worth 1,600 Robux for a 48-hour advertisement? Let's find out, and let's run the sponsored ad. 1,600 Robux for 48 hours on a basic server. Is it worth it? Let's find out. We've gone ahead and purchased it. Here is the leaderboard. As you can see, we've got 48 hours for this ad to run. So far, obviously, we've got no engagements, no impressions, and no conversions. I'm not even going to try and look for my own ad because it will be quite hard to find, but I will get back to you just before this advert ends, and we'll see if it is worth it or not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Well, welcome back everybody. It has been a few days since I posted my sponsored ad campaign, and the sponsored ad is now finished. It is no longer running. Now, I do just want to quickly mention, I was curious to whether the price depended on how many private servers were currently sponsored as well. When we did that video, there was about 30. If we look now, there's 48, and the price is still the same. I did see a lot of people recently saying that the price goes up or down depending on how many private servers there are, which would make sense, but just to clear that up, as far as I'm aware, that is not the case. The price is 1,600 Robux, and that is set. But with all that said, let's cut to the chase, and let's take a look at how my advert actually did. So on screen now is a screenshot of the last kind of hour or so of my sponsored ad campaign. As you can see, we got 3.6 million impressions, which is quite a lot. However, only 1,454 engagements, and then a surprisingly low 340 conversions. So let's start off with impressions. Now, first of all, what is an impression? Well, it's quite simple. Every time I see an ad like this counts as one impression, or even if no one sees it, it will still be an impression. For example, if I didn't come to this part of the map, this would have still shown, and it would still count as an impression, if you know what I mean. Similar to how at that bus stop over there, there is an advert. However, I've not been over there and I've not seen it, but because it's still there, it counts as an impression. So my ad was shown like that 3.6 million times, and that includes on the billboards as well, which does seem like quite a lot actually. But when we look at engagements, only 1,400 people actually joined the server from that. So from 3.6 million to just 1,400 is quite significant, and already kind of puts me off the idea of ever running a private server advert again. If you don't know, engagements are just a little bit further than impressions. Engagements are people that actually click on it, like this, actually click on the ad and takes you to the advert. That is what engagements are. So only 1,400 people actually did that, which for 1.6 million seems like a very, very, very low amount. But what is probably the most concerning part is the conversions. Only 340 conversions happened for this private server advert, which means that out of the 3.6 million people that could have seen it, and out of the 1,400 people that clicked on it, only 340 people actually joined it. Now, that is without saying really, really bad. It's 1,600 Robux for only 340 conversions. That means for every person that joined, you're paying around 5 Robux for each person that joins your server, which is quite a lot because they could join and leave straight after. However, this does leave me with one significant conclusion. You may remember at the start of the video I suggested that everyone that purchases a private server ad gets a custom logo and picture made for the advert, both for the billboard and for the bus stop ads. Now, the reason that the engagement and conversions are so low is because this had no packs and it did not even have a server logo and the most basic name possible. If I just simply replaced that with a nice picture from my server, it would have gotten so many more. The good thing about this is that we had 3 million impressions, over 3 million, which means if we can advertise and appeal to them 3 million people, we will get a lot more members. But is it worth it or is it not? Well, from what I've seen on this video, on my experiment, no. Is it worth it if you were to put some time into creating a decal and taking some screenshots from your server and uploading them? Then it might be a different story, but even so, I think it's just really low compared to what you could get if you spent that Robux on maybe a sponsored ad in another server. I don't know. I really don't know. You guys will have to test that out for yourself. I would say it would definitely be better than what you saw in this video, but again, I don't know if it will be worth it. You can at least get 500, possibly up to 1,000 conversions, or even more if it looks appealing, even up to 10,000 if you get a lot of good impressions and engagements, which to be honest is quite a lot. And if your server is interesting, people will stay in the server and join your community afterwards, which is great. That's what you want. But do you think it's worth it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you bought a private server ad, what your thoughts are, and if you think it's worth it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Drop a like, subscribe, check out everything else in the description, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.